This is absolutely hilarious. This is absolutely effing hilarious. Sevi Uzun. Wait, has she deleted her Twitter? This Twitter account doesn't even exist anymore. Let's never forget what this Twitter account said about Duana Bonner. Let's never forget that. But tweeted out, Sevi Uzun, Turkey playing a type of basketball you read about in the World Cup qualifying, lost the game for Turkey. Sevi Uzun, I'm not going to say carried Turkey to a World Cup, but like she was the best player when they got to World Cup. Before we get on to it, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We are trying to hit 57,750 subscribers by the end of the day. But anyway, now let's get back to it. So I don't mind when players clamp back, especially when, it's this type of stuff. But it's like, I mean this when I say this. It's this weird thing where it's like, kind of like the Threads echo chamber, where it's like, I'm not even going to say where it's like, okay. I'm not even going to say like, okay to bully players, because it's like the amount of stuff that's been said about Sevi Uzun, about Beck Allen, it's crazy. And like, it goes further than basketball. Like at the end of the day, the Chicago Sky's a fucking toxic cesspit. But it's like, if you're not, that's the weird thing with Sky. If you're not every single possession giving the ball to Caitlin, and to a lesser extent, or to Angel, to a lesser extent, that happens to Fever fans and Caitlin. But at the same time, it's like, when Christy Wallace is hooping for Australia, it's not like people are going out of their way to like talk about how bad, like to not even talk about, to lie about how badly she's playing. Christy Wallace is fucking hooping for the 3v3 team. Christy Wallace was garbage for the Fever. Let's be real, she was garbage. That being said, like, when Demir is as frustrated, it's so frustrating as a Fever fan that Demir Stantis, when she plays for Brazil, is the greatest player in the world. But like, she was terrible for the Fever. But like, you're not going to see people just celebrating Dantas losing and celebrating lowlights. And this is the same Sevi Uzun. By the way, Sevi Uzun is really good. This is her in Eurobasket 2023. I thought this was just her in normal tournaments. So this is her in Eurobasket 2023, averaged 13.7 points per game. Is this her? I'm trying to look at her general profile on FIBA. This was her, 2019, for playing Euro Cup when she was a child. Has not been good for, by the way, the Sky. I will tell you that for one. She's not been good for the Sky. She was not good for the Sky, but no one looked good for the Sky. But Sevi Uzun responding, let me know if you need a code for watching a World Cup. I don't want you to stop hating me while I'm living my dream. She got Turkey to a World Cup. Like, that is impressive. And she was their best player. Did she delete the tweet? She got cooked. I think she might delete the Twitter. And again, 15.2 points, 2.4 assists per game. And it's one of these things that will bring this energy, bring the same winning energy back to Chicago. She's not fucking going back to Chicago. Oh my God. Like, you think anyone's going to want, like, anyone doesn't land. Like, it's one of those things where I've put them 15th on my best free agent destinations. No one goes to Chicago unless they overpay or they just land there. No one wants to be in Chicago. And it's only very partially to do with the circus. Like, you can live with the circus as long as, there's the benefits. There's all the downsides of a circus, but none of the benefits when you're in Chicago. You're under a microscope and you're not getting extra brand deals. You're not getting anything else. But like, it is always funny when some of the players that they'll like absolutely go on target, especially because it's like, you're looking at it. And I look at Fever fans last year and people try to compare them. It's like Chicago Sky fans are watching a player on their team get their team to a World Cup and nearly win MVP. And I'm not even going to say Sky fans. I'll say that side, because that's a person like who's a Alyssa Thomas stan. Clearly not a basketball fan. But like, watching a player win MVP and saying about how shit they are. They're currently playing and lying about that. And like, I remember last summer with the Fever fans, it's like Grace Berger didn't play. People were looking at how she was doing in Turkey. People were getting hyped for Demiris Dantas coming back. People were getting hyped at one stage early on in the year for how Temi was playing for Besiktas. People were getting hyped. Heck, people were getting hyped when we signed Gillia Lane. And she was killing it in Turkey. So, it's a big difference. A big difference. And obviously, look, fans are going to complain about players on their team when they're playing complete garbage. You better believe that there was a lot of Bree Turner slander. But if Bree Turner starts to hoop, you fucking 180. You 180, that's the way fans are. But again, when you're literally watching a player going and carrying their nation, it's a hilarious one. It is a hilarious one. But again, shout out Sevi Uzun getting Turkey to the World Cup. A player that I would not have minded playing with the Fever. And if you're one, a lot of people are like, why am I look at her WNBA stats? The reason why I'm so like okay with her going to the Fever, and it's the reason why initially, is that I've watched a lot of Fenerbahce, and it's the fact that you've got a true traditional point guard in Julie Alamont, and she's able to play with Julie Alamont. She can run the show as a point guard. She's a plus defender. She's got decent size. Not going to give you more than 5 points per game to WNBA, but I'm like, I thought she was a better fit. Because I remember when people were talking about Ari, I was like, what does the team want? It's like, do they want somebody who they can sign now and long-term play with Caitlin? Or do they want somebody that they can sign now and then get rid of when Caitlin comes back? And I was like, if they want someone that can play with Caitlin, I would be very high on Sevi Uzun. Coming back from Eurobasket, and obviously they went with Ari, and considering how badly injured Caitlin got last season, Ari was the right choice. Ari was absolutely the right choice. But like, if Sevi Uzun rocks up in Indiana Fever colors, I'll be happy. I'll be happy, because worst case scenario, you're getting effort, you're getting defense, and you're getting a solid backup. You're not getting a great backup, but you're getting a solid backup regardless. Because like, whoever backs up Caitlin's stats are going to be terrible. Like, Erica Wheeler went from averaging 10 points per game to like 2.5 points per game back up to 10 in the year she backed up Caitlin. So whoever backs up Caitlin's stats are going to be bad anyway. But yeah, it is just a hilarious one seeing her, clap back at the haters when things change. And by the way, I don't mind players doing this, but I also don't think players should be reading hate tweets about themselves. I really don't think they should. I think this is a funny one because it's like, but at the same time, we've seen it plenty of times where if you fuck up in sports, and it's the case with everyone, by the way. It is the case with everyone. Whether you fuck up in sports, heck, if you make a bad take online, you look at Twitter and it's just people attacking you. It's like, oh, it's not ideal. Like, it's one of the things that I'm glad that I've never, even though I've had a successful career on social media over the last decade, I've never transcended to the Kenny Beecham level I'm just trying to think of like people that would have been there, but like my peers that would have been obviously bigger channels, but like guys that I would know from what I did, like a Kenny Beecham, a Jesser, the AMP guys, like Agent Davis and stuff. And I'm like, I'm glad I never transcended to that, because I don't know how the fuck I would do it with how terminally online I am, but you just have to stop being, I guess. Anyway, yeah, that's the video. Shout out Sevi Uzun, and for the inevitable times, during the season, when she's going to have ups and downs. If you're playing pretty badly, stay off Twitter. That is a bit of advice. But anyway, I'll see you guys.